Hey everybody, Chuck here. This is in March. Actually, it's March 14th. And I'm videoing you, or taping this anyway, out of the middle of the zombie apocalypse. I don't mean to make fun of it at all. I really don't. But coronavirus is just in the, it's hitting everybody right now. And someday it'll be past. And hopefully, God's will, we'll all be around after that. And I hope you're doing well and stay well. Suspension, that's what we're working on today. This one didn't have a suspension. Some of the considerations that we're thinking about over the years I've been doing this is I need a big footprint. That's 24 inches from there to there, solid on this track vehicle. And I'm standing way at the back, and you know how easy these things wheelie. So a couple of my considerations was I wanted to keep the track as close as possible, and so I could have it wide footprint, still get some suspension underneath this. That was my consideration. So we did the frame flip. That's a long time ago now. Differentials on the bottom. You all know this. And here's what I was kind of using. One side with the track, the track on it, so I could play around with the other side. So let's go over here and show you what I've done. And last time we were working on the sprocket, I told you about the sprocket deal. I've put the pieces in here to kind of eliminate the valley. I think that's going to work better. So here we are. I'll just get you a look at it. This is a suspension. This should give me, the other one had 24 inches across the bottom. This is about 29 inches, almost 28, 29 inches. So it's about 4 inches more. And I still don't know if I'd like a little bit more footprint than that. But we'll try this and see how we go. As you can see, we've used these. I introduced these the other time. I use these little shocks that come off of mountain bikes. They're just a cheap Chinese deal. They're about $9 a piece. So I got 8 times 9, $72, free shipping. And they're 450 pounds each. I figured that's plenty. 450 pounds. Of course, that's 900. And, on the back, counting that one and the one across to be 900 pounds. You know what I'm saying. So there's other 850 pound shocks, but I figured the 450 would be more than plenty for what I want to do. So I actually modeled this off of one of my Russian videos I watched. I can't even tell you what video it was, but the idea of a shock on each side with a pivot here, and it hits a bump and it can pivot here. Now these can also pivot in the middle, but I'm going to eliminate that just because there's a little slop and I don't want to touch it right now. That was an idea. To have that be able to pivot there too, and it's like the more pivot the better, but I realized once I put the tension, that track on there, it's going to pull that one up, and it's going to start out immediately cocked a little bit, and I don't like to do that. And but I will give a shout out to my friend Carl. He came over here and took a look at it, and he gave me some ideas. So Carl, I know you're going to watch this sooner or later. Thanks for your input there, and thanks for leaving me alone. I'm just kidding. So here we go. Pretty simple to talk about. Can't give you measurements. I'm sorry, because I'm just practicing with this. But I just took some square tubing and cut out the bottom of it. Those are about 6 inches apart there and there. And, that's like 2 inches there. Maybe later we can get some plans or something. But what I did do, I intentionally put the front one out as far as I could get. And I took the back one, and I got that one as back as far as I could get. This would give me about, like I said, 28, 29 inches. And I think that'll work just fine. Here's one of the ones I left off. And if you could see it here, I intentionally put the shock down at the bottom. That was the idea. I was trying to come up with a way I could keep as much... keep the wheels and the shocks up high. Again, I'm trying to keep that high so I extend my track and get the longest possible wheelbase. And I came up with this idea. I go to bed thinking about this stuff, as some of you probably do. And I started out with a simple little pattern like this. I was going to do this. And of course, that's where the axle shaft went through. And I was going to put the shock there. And I just figured, well, wait a minute. Why don't I just make them a little bit bigger So I've made them out of 2-inch. Here's the raw piece right here. I used this as a pattern, put it on here. I put a whole stack of them together and drilled through like 6 of them at the same time. All my holes are exactly the same. Also, the difference between this suspension and the other way over in the corner there, that old torsion suspension, is that I'm using a little, what they call, like a little axle shaft. That's, everything's 5/16 axle in these shopping cart wheels. Everything's 5/16. So I was able to find some, basically it's 3/8 center, and it's a 1/2 inch diameter. It's pretty hard to find, but I did find it, and I think that'll be perfect for the axle housing. And I flush it out on the inside like that, and I'm going to weld it right there. Now, consideration as I did this, this is the interesting part, and I think it was almost a divine inspiration. I don't mean to be haughty about that, but I had to come up with an idea because I didn't want these wheels too far apart, and I certainly couldn't put them too close together when they ride over the track guides here. So I didn't want them to, couldn't have them too close, and I didn't want them too far out. And it's just amazing the way it worked out that when these things are the way I cut them here, it perfectly fits here over the track guides. Plus, it just leaves me an amount to have the shock in here. Of course, I haven't got any washers in between there, but it leaves just enough room for the shock to be able to bounce up and down. Another beauty of the system that I kind of like. I did away with my frame inside here. By the way, there's the old torsion thing. Just thought I'd leave that up for a reminder that it didn't work. But I put a center rail down this time, put a piece of angle on it, just tacked it here, and of course I'll drill this and put bolts in it. And again, everything is connected. This whole suspension is connected to just the center. It's just me, guys. For some reason, I like the idea of being able to, unbolt the thing, drop the whole thing out from under it, and then I can do what I need to do. So there's really not much more to say other than that. I know I'm gonna end up welding these, the bolts, just kind of keep them in line. It was just wonderful. If you look down the line here, you could see everything lined up good all the way down. I'm just amazed, and it's perfectly centered. And I just believe that with this suspension, these things will bounce up and down, and I think it's going to be great. All right, so I guess I'm going to leave you with that for now. It's Saturday afternoon. I'm going to go in the house and get some things done. I want to say thanks for watching, my subscribers and the viewers, and remind you that if you're interested, there's a Facebook group called Personal Track Vehicles. About 250 people in there now, Personal Track Vehicles, where we have a bunch of builders that are doing some really, really cool things. And sincerely, until we meet again, these things are shutting down around here. Schools are shutting. We live in Michigan. It's just really crazy. And should you feel inclined, if you ever open up the good book, the Bible, there's a Psalm 91. It's a really, really cool thing. Psalm 91 actually gives you kind of a prayer to pray, if you're so inclined, about protection. And it just really defines, what God can do for you in the middle of a literal plague. If you read it, you'll be amazed. So Psalm 91, if you're interested in that, I think it'd help you out. And I'm trusting in that too. And then we'll get through this thing, and there are better days ahead. So God bless you again. Thanks for watching. Any comments, put them down there. Any thoughts? Personal Track Vehicles on Facebook. And again, next time you see me, I'm hopefully have this together, and we'll be test driving to get around. All right. God bless you. Bye, guys and gals. Bye-bye.